Hey y'all, it's Michelle Pippin with WomenWhoWow.com and our official Women Who Wow blog at themichellepippin.com, and we are here for another episode of Mornings with Michelle. And today I want to talk about the trifecta of muscle marketing, the trifecta of marketing that works. It's that strategic intersection of who you're talking to, what you're saying, and where you're showing up that makes marketing simple and strategic and more effective. And I also am doing this for the sole purpose of simplifying marketing for you. And the reason is because there's so much out there that complicates our marketing, that starts to bog it down with all of these tools and bright shiny objects, and as if there's a special way to market for every different marketing tool. And so regardless of the tools that you're using, websites, live streams, Facebook ads, robot messaging, text messaging, podcasting, whatever, right? I don't care about the tools that you use. The trifecta of marketing is absolutely still at play. It is absolutely still critical. This same trifecta of marketing that we're getting ready to talk about, the three little parts that really matter, it is exactly what our grandfathers and great-grandfathers used in business, right? If you remember, back before the Industrial Revolution, most Americans were self-employed, right? And profitably self-employed. And then the Industrial Revolution happened and we all sort of migrated to good jobs. And we did that with promises of security and 30 years and a gold watch and all of this stuff. And I'm happy for that transition to have taken place. But somewhere in our country, the concept of self-employment became scary and unrealistic and riddled with risk. And all of a sudden, in the exact same country where self-employed individuals, that's how most people supported their families, all of a sudden now we fast forward through the Industrial Revolution and we have an 80% failure rate for business. And in that time, we have increased the number of coaches for business and increased the number of marketing platforms and increased the number of associations and the Better Business Bureau and all of these things that are meant to support business in our and the health of business has gone down, right? So I just want to bring us back to the trifecta of marketing that worked for our great-grandfathers and our great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers, and what still works today, regardless of your industry or your, how high-tech you are or whatever, right? So this will work for you as it worked for generations and generations and generations of profitable business owners. So marketing or generating leads for your business should not ever be a mysterious process. It's not a mysterious process, right? In a nutshell, you've got to identify the problem that you solve, figure out the people who have that problem, and then offer it to them. But there's a trifecta. There's these three parts that are that work together all the time and that work no matter what you do, where you live, or what tools you're using. So the first part of the trifecta is the who. This, I believe, is the most important part, potentially, of the marketing trifecta. It is where all the big doors hinge and open, right? It is knowing your target market intimately, right? Intimately. Knowing who you're marketing to. You want to make sure that your who has a problem that you solve, can be easily reached, ideally in mass, and is willing and able to pay for the solution that you provide, right? So the first part of the trifecta is who you are actually trying to serve. Now, they should have a problem that you solve, be easily reached by you, preferably in mass, and then be willing and able to pay. But the person who knows their market most intimately will be able to sell most easily. Why? Because you're able to speak their language. You're able to capture the problem that they have in their terms and couch your solution in their terms. This is not about manipulation. This is about knowing them so well that you can serve them better than anybody else, right? Knowing them so well, you can serve them better than anybody else. So the who is the first part. The second part is the where, right? Once you've decided who your who is, you need to figure out where you're going to show up in order to reach your target market. Maybe you're going to reach them by speaking at an association meeting or writing for the association newsletter. Maybe they're in your neighborhood and you're going to show up at a local networking group. Your where strategy might involve joint venture marketing or working with someone who's already working with your target market and partnering with them in some way. But the where is also really important, right? Because we can know our who and be able to speak their language and know that we can serve them better than anybody else. But we have to figure out where we're going to actually show up so that they can see that we're the best person to help them with whatever the problem is, right? This isn't about getting your name out there, although it does get your name out there. This is about getting into conversations, making people aware that you solve the problem that they have. And for most people, I see them being overexposed and underpaid, right? And I'm going to be talking a little bit about this to our Women Who Wow members today in our private training, which is what's holding you back in business. But sometimes we can get so locked into, say, a local sandbox or so locked into a specific network of people that we're held back by that. And so you want to make sure that you have a where strategy, an actual strategy for where you're going to show up, how often, and also how you're going to show up. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make if they're in the consulting or coaching or expert field is they show up as a peer. Right? They show up as a peer all the time, and they need to show up as an expert. And this requires very, very, very small shifts, but they're important shifts. And if you are an expert, a coach, consultant, speaker, whatever, I'd rather you not show up at all in person if you're not showing up as the expert, because you start to erode people's willingness to pay you if you're overexposed and too familiar with them, right? So anyway, but where you show up. So the who, where they're going to find you, right? And so when you're thinking about your own business right now, where are people likely to find me? Where am I showing up? Is it in the media? Is it locally at different networking groups? Is it online? If it is online, how do I expect them to find me? Is it on my website? If so, what inroads have I cut to my website so that they find it? So you always think about your where strategy. And the way I talk to my clients about this is you can imagine that you're in a forest, your business home is in the middle of a forest and it's surrounded by woods and all of this stuff. So every day you need to get your machete out and you want to go out there and carve an inroad to your front door. There should be many roads. There should be many where strategies. You shouldn't rely on just one. So you need to have many inroads cut through the forest to your front door. And this is something that you should be doing daily, right? And you need to think about, where can I be found today? Where am I likely to be found today? And this should be a very active part of how you spend your days if you are a CEO of your company. So then we have the third part of the trifecta. So the who, the where, and now we have the what, right? So now that you know who you're targeting and where they're going to find you, you need to have the cornerstone of your marketing really is what you're going to say to them, right? This is your message to them. This is how you couch their problem and your solution and how you're uniquely suited to solve it for them. The message, the what, is how you're showing up in terms of allowing them to know, like, and trust you, how you are discussing their problem, how you're discussing your solution, how you're directing them to next steps. So the who, the where, and then your what. And the what should be as direct and as confident and as simple as possible, right? So it's a strategic kind of intersection of these, the who, the what, and the where, that creates effective, profitable, what I call muscle marketing strategies. And it's very simple. And again, the way I started this conversation today is to remind you that it doesn't matter how many technology changes that we see in our lifetime or how many new shiny things or that we can look at. It doesn't matter that we can publish a book in an instant or have a podcast in an instant or have these websites that are quick and easy and cheap to put up. What matters is, because we have a lot of people who make very little money who have all of those things. What matters is, have you created that deliberate intersection between who you're serving, do you know them intimately, where you're showing up and able to be found, and preferably in a right manner, right? Like if you're an expert, you need to be found as an expert. And the third is the what, right? What are you saying? What are you messaging to them? Is it authentic? Is it powerful? Is it compelling? Is it direct? Are you asking them to join you? So if you are watching this after this Mornings with Michelle live stream, you are not a Women Who Wow. The doors are open. You can pay monthly right now. This won't be open forever in this manner, but you can pay monthly right now. Have immediate access to years of training library content. Have immediate access to me for one-on-one sessions. And I would love to welcome you into the Women Who Wow community, the most loyal, the most driven, the most authentic community online of seriously driven women entrepreneurs. So if this is you, or if you have a friend that should join us, let them know. Go over to womenwhowow.com, and I will see you on the other side. Talk with you soon.